What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from Anime Uproar, and today I have a very hyped topic for you discussing the real reason why all demons, and even non-demons, fear Tanjiro Kamado, the kind-hearted protagonist of Demon Slayer, so make sure to stay tuned for that. If you do enjoy seeing these Demon Slayer videos and want to keep them coming, you know what to do. Channel the Demon Slayer within and smash that like button with no mercy. Remember, smashing that like button is Demon Slayer energy and passing is Muzan energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't, make this the video you subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications, or you will miss future Demon Slayer videos and updates. And while you wait for the next video to drop, feel free to check out my huge and growing Demon Slayer playlist that includes videos on all the Hashira, all the Demon Moons, and much more videos like this one. So link to that is in the description. And now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So in the latest episode of Demon Slayer, we had a few moments which made me want to cover this topic before any other. What is so special about Tanjiro protagonist, and for that matter, is there something special? We've known for a while that Tanjiro's got the special earrings that freak Muzan out, and Kyojuro Rengoku's father also pretty much said he's one of the chosen few who has the strongest breath style, sun breathing. He mentions Tanjiro's earrings as being the sign of a sun breather when they first meet on not so nice terms. Right away, Tanjiro guesses right when it crosses his mind that sun breathing could mean Hinokami Kagura. At this point, we again see the figure of the first and strongest breath style user, whose name is Yoriichi, but more on that later. Now let's fast forward to where we are in the anime right now. As Tanjiro is fighting Daki, he remembers reading Shinjuro's letter where he apologized for his behavior, and he explains again that Tanjiro has a greater power than Kyojuro did, which is hype since Kyojuro was one of the strongest Hashira. Shinjuro wrote, and I quote, "Like you, those destined to wield sun breathing are born with a red mark on their foreheads," and as we know now, Tanjiro has a mark on his forehead that is similar to the one Yoriichi, the first and strongest breath style user, had. Now, I'm not sure why the mangaka did this, but then Tanjiro goes on to explain that he wasn't actually born with the mark. First, he got hurt by protecting his brother, and then it evolved, so to speak, when he was wounded during final selection. So yeah, he wasn't born with it, but he is wearing the earrings, he does have the mark, and he is the only known wielder of sun breathing. It's like Avatar, the last sun breather, so even though Tanjiro says he doesn't have the powers of a chosen one, it's pretty clear he is the chosen one for this series, even if admittedly he can't do it all on his own, and he does need help on the way to carrying out his destiny. While Tanjiro fights and lectures Daki about the importance of human life, she gets flashes of Yoriichi with his Demon Slayer mark and the same earrings. Daki realizes it is not her memories, but memories from Muzan's blood. This man traumatized Muzan so bad that all demons he's created, which is virtually all demons, share this fear of him on a cellular level, and Tanjiro is the one that reminds them of him. Tanjiro is presented as a kind of modern day successor to Yoriichi. Tanjiro goes on to use sun breathing to almost take out Daki by himself. Very impressive, even if she's not a full upper moon without her brother. However, at this point in time, he's just not there yet. He hasn't honed his body and mind to the point where he can use sun breathing to its fullest, and so he has to stop mid-attack when his sister's spirit reminds him to breathe. Still, you know for a second there, Daki was very scared, thinking about how she's about to get wrecked, and that's even without the whole PTSD in Muzan's blood thing. So to fully understand this all demons are scared of Tanjiro thing, we gotta turn to this Yoriichi guy for a minute. During chapter 186 of the manga, we get Yoriichi's backstory. We find out that Yoriichi knew and saved Tanjiro's ancestor Sumiyoshi. We find out that, as we know, Yoriichi wore the same earrings, but furthermore, we find out that they were a gift from his mom, who prayed to the sun deity to shine warmly on Yoriichi. Seems very fitting. He had a tragic backstory, which is a topic for another video, but he ended up becoming a Demon Slayer and taught others to use breathing styles. Eventually, he ran into Muzan, the progenitor of demons, and he knew he was born to kill this man. This is the fight that traumatized Muzan. Yoriichi wrecked him. Like Tanjiro, Yoriichi's sword was originally black, but turned bright red during battle. This shows that from the beginning, Tanjiro was meant to be a sun breather too, and he eventually learns to turn his blade bright red as well. First with Nezuko's help, and then without it. During the Muzan-Yoriichi battle, we're told that the bright red blade worked well against Muzan, preventing him from regenerating properly. We'll see how the anime does it, but in the manga, it looks like Muzan takes one shot, Yoriichi dodges it, and then slashes apart Muzan's body in a split second. It wasn't a one-piece epic fight that lasts for 5 days, this was a few seconds, if that. Immediately, Muzan knew he was beat, and so made his body burst open with incredible force. Yoriichi was so skilled and fast that out of the 1,800, he got more than 1,500 pieces, but the remaining pieces were enough for Muzan to eventually regenerate, and then he spent the rest of his life hiding and running from Yoriichi until Yoriichi died of old age. So understandably, when he saw the earrings again on Tanjiro, he wanted Tanjiro dead. Yoriichi passed on the earrings and sun breathing through a dance of the fire god to Sumiyoshi and his descendants until it got to Tanjiro. Now, Tanjiro was not immediately as talented as Yoriichi in his youth, so he's not the chosen one in the sense that he's naturally the most talented person ever, but he is the chosen one in the sense that with enough training and help, he was the one able to finally finish off Muzan using sun breathing, something that even Yoriichi didn't succeed in doing. Tanjiro's chosen one potential is made clear throughout the series, and he is consistently getting stronger and accomplishing more and more impressive feats. He helps Hashira Tengen Uzui beat Upper Moon 6 Gyutaro after his Demon Slayer mark evolves to look even more like Yoriichi's, proving once and for all that it's not just a scar. With this evolved mark, he actually manages to cut the Upper Moon's neck, something Hashira Tengen couldn't even do. When Hashira Iguro shows up, telling Tengen not to retire, Tengen says someone has grown strong enough to help replace him, meaning Tanjiro. So even at this point, you could make the argument that Tanjiro deserves to be considered Hashira level, especially with the dwindling number of Hashira, and what's more, Tanjiro only gets stronger from here. With each fight, he starts to look more and more like Yoriichi in one way or another. Against Gyutaro, his scar temporarily changed to look more like Yoriichi's. Against Upper Moon 4, he uses Yoriichi's own 300-year-old blade and turns it red when delivering the final blow. During the Tanjiro and Giyu vs Akaza fight, his Demon Slayer mark extends again and he gains access to the transparent world, another ability that Yoriichi had. In this state, he can easily avoid Akaza's final form attack, which even Demon Slayer mark Giyu fails to do. Furthermore, Akaza realizes Tanjiro reached the selfless state, which is viewed as the domain of supremacy for martial artists, the thing Akaza has been aiming towards his whole life. This state is characterized by insane speed for one, but also eyes that have no trace of hatred and anger, no malevolence or fighting spirit. It very much sounds like Yoriichi, who was a stoic dude who didn't carry around hate and never had the fighting spirit and drive to be number one. He just did what he felt was the right thing to do and what he considered to be his duty, and he just ended up being the strongest ever. After this, Akaza admits Tanjiro surpassed him, at least in that moment where he cut off his head. Akaza kept going on for a while. He was about to regrow his entire head and become like Muzan, a demon unkillable through decapitation, but his memories and the spirit of his fiancée made him decide to let go and self-destruct instead of regenerating. Even though some might argue that Tanjiro was in no shape to battle anymore and Akaza could have wrecked him if he just decided to regenerate, in his own mind, Akaza accepted defeat. He thought to himself that this fight is over, he lost. When Tanjiro cut off his head, he suffered total defeat. Even if it was temporary, Tanjiro completely outclassed him. And so at this point, Tanjiro has not only surpassed Rengoku, but Demon Slayer mark awakened Giyu as well. At this point, he's already beyond Hashira level, and it's no longer just his similarity to Yoriichi that deserves fear, but also his own insane strength that he's shown. A Hashira is supposed to be outclassed by an Upper Moon. That's how it was for over 100 years. But here, Tanjiro outclassed Upper Moon 3, truly a horrifying level of power for a human, and you can see he's coming into his own as the chosen one and successor of Yoriichi's sun-breathing style. I also think that his sword color going from black to red also goes well with his personal backstory, since his family worked with charcoal, which starts out black and then turns red when set on fire or activated, so to speak. And the fact that he has Kyojuro's flame-shaped guard on his sword is perfect because it's like that fiery will that Rengoku embodied and passed down is now lighting up the charcoal that is the black blade and turning it red. Then there's also Tanjiro's red hair, which is also similar to Yoriichi's, all details that lend to the idea that Tanjiro is special and is destined to be the last sun breather who defeats Muzan, finishing what Yoriichi, the first sun breather, started. So now let's get to this final battle and see how Tanjiro becomes even more frightening to demons and then to all non-demons as well. After all, I did title this video Why Everyone is Scared of Tanjiro for a reason, and not just why every demon is scared of Tanjiro. During the final battle where the demon slayers fight Muzan, Tanjiro fights the longest out of anybody, which makes sense for the guy using the strongest breathing style and the successor of Muzan's arch nemesis. Not to mention the fact that Tanjiro is the main protagonist of the series as well. After Muzan starts infecting Tanjiro with his blood, he tells everyone the blood is a deadly poison that will cause cell destruction and death. He even proclaims Tanjiro as dead at one point, but as if to make Tanjiro appear even scarier, he returns from the dead, aka manages to survive, despite half of his face being infected by Muzan's blood. He does not look pretty here, and even Muzan says at this point that Tanjiro looks awful. powerful that it's hard to tell which one of them is the demon, and that Tanjiro is making Muzan's skin crawl, rather than the other way around. This is another point in which Muzan can't help but think of Yoriichi when confronting Tanjiro. It's at this point that Tanjiro realizes the 13th form is combining all 12 forms of sun breathing and performing them over and over again with increased speed and accuracy. And he actually fights Muzan one-on-one and survives for a while. True, Muzan says Tanjiro's no Yoriichi, but Tanjiro has not only Yoriichi's teachings passed down to him, including ones designed specifically for defeating Muzan, but also he has help that Yoriichi didn't have, like Tamayo's poisoning of Muzan, all the Hashira and other demon slayers coming in and assisting Tanjiro when necessary. Not to mention, all of the damage Yoriichi did during that battle centuries ago was burnt into Muzan on a cellular level. They appear on his body when he's drained enough from the fighting and poison, and these scars reveal Muzan's weak spots to further help Tanjiro and the others. Tanjiro may be the star of this fight, but this truly is a team effort. Iguro is the first to regain consciousness and step in to help Tanjiro after Muzan wrecked all the Hashira in a previous attack. Together they actually scare Muzan enough for him to start running for his life, and then they have to stop him from escaping. Muzan even tries to divide, but he can't because Tamayo's poison is preventing his super handy divide and explode attack he used against Yoriichi. With a lot of help, Tanjiro eventually ends up pinning Muzan to a wall as the sun is rising. As the sun comes up, Muzan turns into a giant baby, literally. He tries to crawl away, but our side keeps attacking until he eventually dissolves in the sun like any other demon. So already we discussed why demons are scared of Tanjiro. At first, he reminded them of Yoriichi, who traumatized Muzan. Then he actually became strong enough to justify that fear, and eventually even Muzan was trying to run away from him. Not only did he outclass Upper Moon 3, he played the biggest role in defeating the Demon King himself and became the strongest living demon slayer, surpassing the Hashira. We then find out that as a goodbye present, Muzan entrusted his feelings or will to Tanjiro. Although Tanjiro was partly dead when Muzan turned into a giant baby since his breath and heart had stopped, he wasn't all dead. Muzan noticed that not all his cells had died. So Muzan poured all his blood and power into Tanjiro in the hope that he will become the strongest demon, the king of the demons, and the one that will conquer the sunlight. And theoretically, if Demon Nezuko was able to do it, it makes sense that Tanjiro, a close relative, would be able to do it as well. So Muzan just created a demon even stronger than himself, the most dangerous being that the world ever had to encounter up to this point. Crazy to think it would end up being our protagonist. Muzan also mentions the fact that Tanjiro knew the same breathing as that monster, to use his own words, meaning Yoriichi. We saw how strong Kokushibo was with moon breathing, so imagine how strong Tanjiro, who got all of Muzan's blood and power and knew the strongest breath and could have sun immunity, would be. He'd be unkillable since he'd be able to regrow his head like Muzan and survive the sun like Nezuko. He could just keep getting stronger and stronger. However, this remains more of a possibility than a reality since Tanjiro isn't a demon for long. I do believe that if he remained a demon, he could have used enhanced sun breathing eventually, like Kokushibo used demon enhanced moon breathing. But Demon Tanjiro is initially more like a wild animal than a tame and skilled swordsman. It's crazy to see Demon Tanjiro in action. Muzan was right that the sun doesn't kill him. He is able to become a kind of bony demon Doc Ock with bony whips coming from his back. They also notice that along with sunlight, the red blades have no special effect against him either. He then launches an attack from his mouth, reminiscent of an energy ball or Biju ball from Naruto. It's a devastating attack, but we don't even get to see its full potential because Nezuko interferes by blocking it with her arm. Giyu notices that Tanjiro held back, since he's not killing the bleeding prey, aka Nezuko, right in front of him. Thus, there is still Tanjiro in there, keeping this demon from throwing everything it's got at Nezuko and the rest. In the end, they have no chance of physically overpowering Demon King Tanjiro and have to use medicine and friendship to reach him. So despite Muzan telling him he is the perfect demon and the ultimate living creature, Tanjiro decides he'd rather die as a human than live forever as a demon and reverts back to normal, now without the use of the eye and arm he lost during the battle. And that brings us to the happy ending where Tanjiro retires into a peaceful, simple, and honest non-demon slaying life with Kano and the others. He was feared as a demon slayer for being the last known sun breather, for being Yoriichi's successor, and then for being the strongest living demon slayer. Then he briefly turned into the strongest demon ever, the ultimate living creature as Muzan called him, that would be unkillable and could potentially use enhanced sun breathing down the line. Even Yoriichi would not have been able to kill the final form of Demon King Tanjiro because he was unaffected by red blades and sunlight. He was the biggest threat the world had ever seen, but luckily the medicine, Tanjiro's friends and family, and his own will to do what is right right turned him back into a human. So yeah, Tanjiro is well beyond Hashira level, beyond Upper Moon level, and even beyond Muzan level when he becomes the next Demon King. He was feared by all demons as a demon slayer, and then by everyone else when he became a demon. But that is it for this video. Let me know in the comments what you think Demon King Tanjiro could have looked like down the line if he accepted being a demon and maybe even used sun breathing in demon form like Kokushibo used moon breathing. What do you think would have happened if Yoriichi faced this final version of Demon King Tanjiro? Those are some very interesting questions from my perspective, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about them. If you did enjoy this video and want to keep the Demon Slayer videos coming, you know what to do. Channel the Yoriichi within and smash that like button with no mercy. Remember, smashing that like button is Yoriichi energy and passing is Muzan energy, so choose wisely. If you haven't, make this the video, subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications or you will miss future Demon Slayer videos and updates. And while you wait for the next video to drop, feel free to check out my huge and growing Demon Slayer playlist that includes videos on all the Hashira, all the Demon Moons, and much more videos just like this one. Link to that is in the description. And until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.